Hello dears! So today I'll be drawing an updated Meet the Artist challenge. I think the last time I did this challenge was back in December of 2016. I was 17 at the time, so I think it's been real due for an update. I included the sketching process in this video, which was kind of a nerve-wracking decision to make. I usually don't like it when people watch me sketch because I don't like it when you can see all of the edits and mistakes I make with the anatomy, but I guess that's kind of the point, to see the process. I drew myself in a relaxed sitting position, kind of like if you were leaning off the edge of your seat and had your hands behind you to steady you. I was trying out a new way of sketching proportions, and I think it worked out pretty good. I feel like I always struggle with making poses look fluid and anatomically correct, and end up taking a long time with the sketching phase because of it, but I used reference off to the side combined with the new sketching method, and it worked out super well, so I think I'm going to continue doing it this way from now on. For this drawing, I drew myself the way I actually look in person, rather than my pink-haired persona that I have on my banner and end card. I generally don't really like the way I look in person, not because I'm fat or anything, but because I feel like I look really boring. In my head, I feel like I look a lot more interesting than I actually am. I wish I had pink hair, but unfortunately most places don't let colored hair and body mods, so I have to keep things pretty conservative as much as it pains me to do so. I drew myself in an outfit I own, save for the pink and blue cardigan. I didn't think that the red one I initially drew myself in was fitting with all of the pinks and pastels that end up going into this drawing later on. I don't actually own a blue and pink one, but I do own a red, green, and black version. The shirt is a bodysuit that I own that's actually one of my very favorite shirts, and the shorts are actually just jean capris that I chopped myself, so they're not super even. I intended to render the frayed edges on it, but completely forgot by the end. Same with the tassels on the edge of the cardigan, but I'm far too lazy to go in and fix it now. I also drew some platform sneakers that I have. They were pretty cheap shoes from Torrid. They don't fit too well. I think I got one size too big, so they kinda hurt to wear for too long, but I like them, and I feel like everyone has a pair of shoes that hurt to wear, but they're cute, so you muscle through it. I pretty much exclusively wear jeans and either a sweater or a tank top with a cardigan. I'd love to wear more pinks and pastels though. Pastel Goth, Decora K, and Lolita fashion are all of my, dream fashions, but they're all super expensive, and I'm plus size, so it's already hard to find clothes, never mind specialty fashion. I guess I'll just need to learn to sew clothes. I can technically already sew, and I have my own fancy sewing machine my parents got me for Christmas one year and everything. But I normally just sew things like plushies, hem pants, and small things like dice bags. I'd like to learn how to sew more things though. Pattern cutting and grain lines scare me with woven fabrics. I hate the fraying, which is why I like working with fleece so much more. First world problems, I guess. Also drew a little speech bubble with a mug. I ended up putting a brown liquid in it later, and since I look so tired in the drawing, you can imagine it's either tea or coffee. Both have caffeine anyway. Lining is always a fun time. I feel like I rely a lot on size vector setting for line work because I can manipulate the lines even after they're done. and erase automatically at intersections. Sci 2 updated the way that they edit the hand-drawn vector lines, and I actually don't like it as much, which is a bummer. I really like using the width and density slider with it, but it tends to get really weird now. There's more editing points for it, and there's no way to delete them, so it's just not as smooth or as pleasant of a time using it anymore. actually forgot to record me actually aligning and making the quote-unquote inventory items and the majority of the background here. I was kind of upset with myself afterwards because it was fun to do so. In the inventory, I drew my laptop, which is a Republic of Gaming Strix. That was far too freaking expensive if you ask me. I think it was something like $1,200. My great-grandfather passed away and he ended up giving all of his grandkids some money after he died, so I went ahead and bought myself a new laptop and a tablet. And speaking of that tablet, I drew my Huion display tablet. Wacom is obviously industry standard, but I really recommend trying out a Huion if you're on a budget and want to try out your first display tablet before moving on to something bigger. I also drew my phone, which is a Samsung. I definitely prefer Android over Apple. I don't really like the way Apple works, and plus, the company just rubs me the wrong way most of the time. Next, I've got my Switch, which I pretty much never leave the house without for extended periods of time. I feel like lately I haven't been playing it as much as I want to, and with Animal Crossing, I feel like I can't boot it up. I feel too guilty about leaving them for so long. Like, I know why they mention, like, oh, you've been gone for so long, but I always just feel so guilty. Next, I drew my keys and my meds and my cute quirky backpack that my sibling got me for a gift for, I believe it was Christmas. It was that or my birthday. I can't really remember. So, to go over the information in the background itself, my name is Opal. I go by Opal in person for the most part as well. I use my given name for work and official things, but I prefer Opal. I'm 21 years old right now, and my birthday is on January 21st, which means I am an Aquarius. And I'm also an INFP in the Myers-Briggs personality test thing. I'm also non-binary and pansexual. For my likes and dislikes in the background, pink is my favorite color. It's been my favorite for a long time. I kind of denied it at first. I'm non-binary, but I am AFAB, so growing up, I kind of rejected anything that was super feminine coded because I hated being told who I was and what I was expected to like, just because of what I was born as. I ended up picking purple as my favorite color since it was so close to pink, and eventually, when I turned 15, I think I just accepted that pink was and had always been my favorite color. Next on my likes is tea. God, I love tea. I think if I could, I'd spend most of my money at David's Tea. Loose leaf teas are just so much fun. There's so many flavors and types. They're all very good. My favorite tea on this planet is an herbal tea from David's Tea called Forever Nuts. It's obviously a nutty tea, but it actually has apple slices and beetroot pieces in it. So the tea brews a pink color. Mixed with milk and sugar, it looks super pastel and cozy. If you can get your hands on it, I'd super recommend it. Next is corgis. And corgis have been my favorite dog breed for a long time. Their short little legs and spunky attitudes are super funny and endearing. They just make me happy to look at. Next is Pokemon, which is obviously something I really love if you've seen my first video here. It holds a very special place in my heart. Video games in general, though, are also super important to me. My favorite video games in the world are Okami, Pokemon, and Bioshock, but Okami is my very favorite game. The game design, mechanics, and art style are all so unique and beautiful. It wasn't as popular when it came out, but it's now a huge cult classic. It's on Switch and Steam now, so if you haven't already heard of it or played it, I genuinely recommend it from the bottom of my heart. It's a great experience. Flowers have also been a big love of mine too. I'm terrible at growing them and keeping them though. Any plants, really. That's one of my goals for 2021, actually, to get better with plants and caring for them. Flowers smell nice and they're pretty to look at, so I'd like to have some in my room. My two favorite flowers are roses and morning glories. I actually have a lot of rose-scented items, and some of my friends know me for smelling like them. Coloring, as I've mentioned before, is my favorite part of drawing. I wish I could skip sketching and lining and just go straight for coloring almost all the time. Next is devil's lettuce. Enough said. And, women. Sorry. I'm pansexual, but I'm definitely more sapphic. As for dislikes, I hate hot weather. It's the absolute worst. It's uncomfortable, it makes me angry, and it's not like you can just take your shirt off to be more comfortable. At least with cold weather, you can put on and take off layers as needed to regulate your body temperature. When it's hot, you just suffer. Capitalism is obvious. I feel like the only people who enjoy it are those that are in the 1% or live comfortably, which is a problem, because Everyone should be living comfortably, I think. Bugs are awful. I mean, hey, don't get me wrong, I do love them in theory, but I hate it when they're actually physically around me. They're creepy and have too many eyes and legs. I can admire pictures, but they're nasty in person. I think the only exceptions to that are butterflies and moths. I really hate overlapping music. I really cannot handle the sensory input, and it will overstimulate me in seconds. When I get like that, I always get weird violent impulses that I don't normally get until the music gets turned off. Beer is awful. I cannot fathom actually enjoying most of it. I do enjoy some craft beers. There's one that's pink lemonade flavored here, and it is very delicious, but things like Coors or Bud Light, just no. Feeling lonely is a big one. I tend to feel alone a lot of the time, even when I'm surrounded by others. It's most definitely just a depression thing, but it still sucks to feel nonetheless. Deadlines. They're necessary, but my brain still hates them. I really hate that rushed feeling. Sweating. This goes hand in hand with hot weather, but I also hate sweating from exercise. A lot of people mention with exercise that you get like a euphoric feeling from it afterwards, but I find that I'm just miserable the whole time, and the sweating is a major part of it. Being tickled. I hate being tickled more than anything on this planet. It makes me panic, and it's just too much sensory input than I want or can handle. Sometimes it's funny and cute, but really only from a romantic partner, and only for short periods of time. I really don't know what to talk about for the rest of this video, so I will just stop the voiceover here and let you enjoy the lo-fi music that I have. I really hope you enjoy. this drawing was super fun to do. I liked the pose and the drawing itself very much in the end, and I'm actually pretty proud of it, honestly. I'm a small artist, so liking, commenting, and subscribing would really help me out, but thank you for watching. I hope you have the sweetest day.